It's been over 2 years since Ark II was initially announced, and today we have a ton of news to discuss about the game, as well as answering the question, where is Ark II? Was it delayed? Will we still see it released next year? And we also just got the news of a potential Xbox showcase in early 2023 that could end up being the next big reveal for Ark II. So we're going to talk about that and so much more. So be sure to stick around until the end of the video because you guys do not want to miss it. Also, I'm giving away a PlayStation 5 and a game of your choice at 80,000 subscribers. So be sure to enter that giveaway. I'll leave the full details at the end of the video. Ark Survival Evolved was one of the biggest surprise hits of the last decade, launching quietly in early access before quickly becoming one of the biggest sandbox survival games in the world. A lot of the modern survival game templates actually come from what Ark laid out for us back in the mid 2010s. And after that game's explosion into the mainstream thanks to console ports, Microsoft took notice and decided to throw some money at the sequel. Ark 2 is currently in development at Studio Wildcard, with Vin Diesel actually playing the main creative role, as well as being the face of the game's story. In addition to the new game, Diesel and the developers are hard at work on an animated series that will help fill in the story gaps between the two games, as there is a lot more storytelling going on in Ark Survival Evolved than a lot of casual observers realize. But despite the hype and anticipation, Ark 2 has also been one of the most mysterious projects in the industry right now because of how secretive the developers have been since its reveal. Where has Ark 2 been after all this time, and what happened to it after the 2020 reveal trailer? It's been over 2 years since the game was confirmed, and without an official release date going into 2023, the community has been digging for answers, and thankfully some have been found. So while Studio Wildcard and Microsoft may be trying to keep Ark 2 quiet, there has been a ton of little bits and pieces of intel dropped throughout the months, both from the official sources and trusted third-party sources, to give us a look at what next year is going to hold for fans of the Ark series. So in this video, I'm going to go over all of that, so definitely like the video if you have not already, and make sure you're subscribed for more update videos like this one. But let's go ahead and dive into where Ark 2 has been and when we should expect to actually get our hands on it. Like I mentioned before, Ark 2 was initially revealed back in 2020, and given how big of an event the Game Awards is every year, a lot of people were expecting there would be some kind of update at the Game Awards 2022, myself included. This would make perfect sense, especially when given the fact that the game's initial reveal trailer was also shown off the Game Awards, albeit 2 years ago. Come to think of it, Microsoft had a pretty minimal presence at the Game Awards altogether, and while part of that is understandable given how busy they are, you would think Phil Spencer and the rest of the team at Xbox would be eager to show some new projects off in 2022, especially considering how underwhelming of a year it was for them. Right now, a number of Microsoft projects are currently being pushed back, including Perfect Dark, Fable, Forza, Gears 6, and the long rumored and anticipated Gears Remastered collection. Ark 2 may not be a first-party Xbox game, but the project is heavily associated with Microsoft and Xbox due to them throwing a lot of funding at the project, as well as the fact that the Ark sequel will not be launching on PlayStation consoles. Instead, it will be exclusive to the PC and current generation Xbox consoles. The game is confirmed to be also launching on Xbox Game Pass, but the point is another Game Awards event has gone by and there's no update on Ark 2 from either Studio Wildcard or Microsoft. So what happened? I guess in Studio Wildcard's defense, they never planned to release another trailer, and obviously they haven't committed to a release date yet, so it's hard to say exactly what's going on here. But we do have a few clues that could point to a potential internal delay. For starters, the Game Awards is the last big gaming event of the year, and if you're expecting to launch your game in 2023, you probably had some kind of presence at one of the major events. For example, EA confirmed the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order a long time ago, but we didn't get an official release date confirmation or trailer until the Game Awards. The point is, virtually every AAA game coming out next year has gotten some kind of trailer or update within the last few months, and the Game Awards was basically the last chance for publishers and game developers to get the word out about their future game releasing. The world of game development has been a very strange one over the last few years, and most gamers just expect delays now. When a company refuses to put a release date on their game and goes 2 whole years without a trailer or release date update, it's kind of an unspoken expectation that a delay is around the corner. Again, that's not a 100% certain thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ark 2 still comes out next year, but the lack of trailer at the Game Awards does kind of rule out a release date within the first half of the year. There's no way Ark 2 drops a trailer and starts its marketing in less than 6 months before the game's launch, so I think you can see where I'm going with this. Microsoft and Studio Wildcard's decision to withhold any kind of promotion for Ark 2 at the end of 2022 very heavily suggests that this project isn't quite ready to be shown off yet. And if that is indeed the case, I just don't see it being ready for launch within the first half of the year. If you ask me, I don't think Ark 2 is going to launch until at least July or September, and even that's a stretch. Most major studios avoid releasing games during the heat of the summer due to lower sales numbers, so I'm guessing Studio Wildcard is shooting for a fall or winter release, but I would be happy to be proven wrong. Now, we do have some news about a potential Xbox event that we're going to talk about pretty soon that could mean that Ark 2 is going to get revealed within the next couple of months, as the event is set to take place sometime at the beginning of the year. Now, it may be a tad bit frustrating to hear about delays over and over again for a game that you're excited for, but all things considered, Studio Wildcard has been extremely busy. Not to mention it is Studio Wildcard we're talking about, but we have to remember that Ark 2 isn't the only project they're working on right now. They're also working very hard on the Ark animated series that's supposed to drop in the very near future. Ark the animated series is a 14 episode series with all-star cast that includes names like Gerard Butler, David Tennant, Elliot Page, Russell Crowe, Carl Urban, and of course Vin Diesel, who I said before is an executive producer and a big fan of the universe. But where this comes into Ark 2's release date is the fact that the show has almost certainly been delayed internally. According to IMDb, the show was expected to release in 2022, which makes sense if it's going to serve as a prequel to Ark 2. Next up, let's talk about some big updates on the game. We did get confirmation not too long ago that the next time we see Ark 2, it will come with gameplay, but that news doesn't really help us when we have no clue when it's going to happen. Pretty much every developer has been kept quiet with an NDA, so the only intel we're going to get at this point is from leakers or insiders with some kind of connection to the project. If the game is set to come out next year, which the developers still claim it is, I think we have to assume that we'll get some gameplay within the next few months. Unless that is, Studio Wildcard is intending on a surprise drop, which I wouldn't rule out, but I also think that is not the way to go or how they're going to play it out. Granted, Ark 2 will be releasing in early access, so it's possible that they choose to forego a big marketing campaign and just drop the game when it's ready, perhaps with a trailer a few weeks before. But then again, I don't think Microsoft would have committed to this project so enthusiastically if they were just going to treat it like another early access sandbox game. Microsoft and Studio Wildcard want us to take Ark 2 seriously as a major release, even if this game was a success story from early access. I mean, there's no way that Vin Diesel signs off to a video game and doesn't market the crap out of it before the release. So when you put all of the clues together, when should you expect Ark 2 to be revealed? If we don't get it in the Microsoft event that's going to be happening soon, I'm expecting Microsoft to do a big re-reveal at E3 conference in 2023 and then drop the game later in the year before the holiday season. Given the fact that this is going to be a console exclusive to Xbox, Microsoft wants to start promoting the game after the holiday season and specifically after the Activision Blizzard acquisition has concluded. Ark 2 likely isn't going to be a really crazy system seller, so Microsoft really isn't that worried about using the game as a way to push Christmas console sales the way they would Fable or Forza. But given the timing of everything that's come out recently and the fact that the show is likely being pushed to next year, I'm guessing that Microsoft is going to hold on to any major Ark 2 news until their E3 conference, or that is the perfect segue into our next topic, the potential Microsoft event in early 2023. According to Jez Corden, who is a Microsoft insider and somebody that's pretty knowledgeable about the industry, they tweeted, "My vague rumor is that there's going to be an Xbox event early 2023 is starting to look quite true." So if that's the case, then that is really big news. Xbox basically holding a very similar event to like a Nintendo Direct or a PlayStation Showcase, or a State of Play for that matter, is something that is heavily needed for the Xbox brand. And I'm almost certain that if we do get an Xbox event in early 2023, then Ark 2 will 100% be shown off during that event. Now, Xbox also addressed the lack of Game Awards presence, and they promised an incredibly exciting 2023, and they said, "We have a lot planned to show and share." So everything is kind of leading up to a big reveal event sometime in early 2023. But like I said, if we don't get an Xbox event early, then expect E3 in June to be absolutely massive for Xbox. Overall, Ark 2 is shaping up to be a very exciting game, but until we get some real gameplay with solid release date updates, I'm going to assume that the project has been pushed back. With an all-star cast in the TV show, it's likely Microsoft is trying to make sure that the title is as good as it can be before it launches. Ark Survival Evolved had a ton of technical issues for its entire life cycle, and after 2022 was such an underwhelming year for Xbox game studios, it seems like everything else on the release schedule is going to get some extra time in the oven to make sure they're as good as possible. After all, if you're already behind schedule, you might as well take some extra time and make sure everything lives up to expectations. But just to recap, all the signs are pointing towards a late 2023 release for Ark 2's early access, and then the TV show will likely launch 3 months before the game, if not earlier. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they launched it closer together just for the sake of the release schedule. I'm personally excited to see what Studio Wildcard is cooking up, and I really hope that the news of an Xbox event is happening in 2023 and Ark 2 is actually there. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Thank you all for watching. Do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, and if you want a chance to win a PlayStation 5 and a copy of Ark 2 or Hogwarts Legacy or a game of your choice, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, comment your Twitter handle, follow me on Twitter, tweet me proof that you're subscribed by tagging my Twitter at WesNemo. The winner will be announced at 80,000 subscribers, and I won't be reaching out via comments. Thanks again for watching, guys. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys again soon.